Start. Shall we start?
Hello. Because we are. Please go ahead.
Okay.
We are live on Facebook and the recording is also on. So please start.
Okay. Good evening, friends. Today, I, on behalf of VIPCA, welcomes you all. First of all, happy Navratra to all of you, and I pray to Ma Durga for well-being of human beings during this pandemic period. As we know, 30th September was the last date for filing GSTR 9 and 9C for the financial year 18-19. But due to pandemic, the department had enhanced the date, extended the date to 30th October. We all are preparing 9 and 9C during this COVID period, but still we have a lot of question arises at the time of filing in our mind at the time of preparation. What to do with the figure of 17-18, which is carried forward in 17-18, 18-19 or not? Whether the figure which has been shown in 18-19 relates to input of finance year 17-18, whether we should show, where to show. There are lots of questions at the time of preparation of 9 and 9C. We have already attended lots of physical seminars and webinars relating to 9 and 9C. Everyone thinks that this time we will prepare 9C correctly, but at the time of preparation, new problem arises that how to fill up this data. Also, whether we are filling the correct data or not. To resolve all this, we have invited Mrs. Aanchal Kapoor from Punjab in this webinar, who will able to resolve these issues. We welcome you, madam, in this webinar.
Thank you so much, sir.
Over to Vishnu Kumar Tulsian, our president. Over to Vishnu Bhaiya.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you for giving the opportunity to welcome all of you on behalf of VIP Road Chartered Accountant Association as a 21st president and convener of the VIP Road Chartered Accountant Study Circle. Good evening, everyone. And I believe and just as talked to Aanchal ji, really fear is coming down, but the fear to file 9 and 9 is going up. And for that purpose, we are here to hear from him. And undoubtedly, many of us is not knowing not practicing in the GST field, so they are more conscious to know with very simple words and with very simple examples, so that they can understand it very easily. And with this request, I would like to request Kapoor madam that please make it water to water like that. And ma'am, without going much about this, I hand over to our past president Rajkumar Bidasaria ji. Is very cooperative to our association to take the proceeding ahead. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. R.K. Bidasaria ji.
Thanks, Vishnu ji. I am pleased that I have been given the responsibility of mentoring this session. Friends, we have 750 plus strong members, and we are the only association in Kolkata exclusively for the chartered accountants. We regularly organize group discussions, study circle meetings, seminars, webinars, conferences on topics of professional interest. We also organize seminars on the topics of healthcare and motivational subjects for the benefit of our members. Friends, our team VIPCA is organizing all these meetings, seminars in spite of the COVID problems since last more than 6 months. We are also engaged in social service, and we organize blood donation camps, create awareness on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, helping the deprived children by providing them books and other necessary help, etc. Besides this, we are also running a library for the benefit of CA students. Our study circle generated 16,527 CP hours in the year 2019-20, and I am sure that this year our dynamic team VIPCA is going to generate at least 25% more CP hours in spite of the COVID problems under the dynamic leadership of our President CA Vishnu Tulsian. Friends, many new opportunities have been added in the kitty of chartered accountants in the last couple of years, including practicing as insolvency professionals, valuers, goods and service tax, etc. A large number of chartered accountants have entered into these fields. Today's webinar has been organized to enhance our knowledge and achieve one more step to get expertise in one of these fields, that is goods and service tax. Today we have a very learned speaker with us, CA Aanchal Kapoor from Punjab. She has expertise in both direct and indirect taxes and has special focus on GST. Her deliberations shall definitely enhance our knowledge on GST. I extend my hearty and warm welcome to CA Aanchal Kapoor. Now, without taking much of your time, I invite CA Amit Agrawal, co-chairman, to introduce our today's learned speaker, CA Aanchal Kapoor. CA Amit Agrawal, please. Amit ji, please.
Thank you, Bidasariya ji. It's my immense pleasure to introduce CA Aanchal Kapoor. CA Aanchal Kapoor is a qualified chartered accountant and is practicing for past 10 years in the field of direct tax and indirect tax, especially appellate work. With a special focus on GST, she has done extensive study on the subject with many certified courses, and GST is one of her core competence area. Since the inception of her academics, she has been placed in the merit list at various levels as a rank holder in CA and gold medalist in graduation. In pursuing her professional career in GST, she is practically into this field and has delivered various seminars on GST on various national platforms across India, including Punjab, Delhi, and Maharashtra. She has authored many articles on GST published from time to time in various journals like AIFTP, Tax Management India. Now, I request Aanchal Kapoor to start his deliberation.
Thank you so much, Amitji, and a very good evening to all of you. So, in this time when everybody is so busy in offices and you have spared time, and I hope that I will be able to justify it, I am very thankful to the study circle for providing me this opportunity to interact with all the members. So, now without taking much time, because, sir, 9(9)C is such a topic that any number of hours can be spent on it, because we are going to do an audit. We are going to prepare a reconciliation statement, to be more specific. और जितना हम लॉ पढ़ेंगे उतने अच्छे वे से हम इसको कर पाएंगे. Sir, if I use Hindi English mix, is it fine, or you want only English, or all, how come?
No, it will be fine, ma'am.
It will be fine. Chal, theek hai ji, fine. So, friends, this webinar success does not only depend upon to me, it depends upon to us. Reason, we are going to play with the figures. And when we are going to play with the figures, so you also have to be equally participating. I will be looking at the answers in the chat box and hope to get it, right? So now, without taking much time, let me share the PPT, please. Right.
Rahul.
I hope you all can see the PPT.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So friends, problem ye hai, when we go for, we all have filed the 9(9)C for the year 17-18. We are a bit aware of the form, rather we have been filing it nowadays also in our offices. But what is the most important thing is where to show the figures of 17-18 and 18-19, which was a new addition. One thing. Second point was, we always think from where to pick the figures. Books, GSTR 1, GSTR 3B. So without taking much time, I know, the issue of from where to book, put the figures, pick the figures is here what we get. Somebody says from here, another says from there. Where to show the transactions of financial year 17-18 is here. Sir very rightly said a few minutes back that when we learn, we listen, we hear, but when we actually put it, we think, okay, should this be the column? Am I filing correct, or there is some another way of doing it? So today, instead of all these different directions, we will be going in one direction. I will be giving you certain points. I will be sharing an Excel sheet with you where you just have to put the formula, just have to put the figures rather, and the formula are already there. You will get the results. You will be, at least you will be get handy of the data of the client, that what actually it says. Sir, problem lies here. We all have studied the law. We all know it. But when we go for practical implementation, we sometimes get lost in the figures because the figures are huge. So this is how this Excel sheet will help you going for it, right? I will surely share that also. But before that, let's discuss some law while going for GSTR 9(9)C. Sir, a few quick points आप सबने किए हैं, you all know these points, but I'm going to take you through quick few points. Yes, the aggregate turnover limit. I know all the professionals in this study circle are very knowledgeable ones. You have a lots of people like Vikas ji who have been here. You have been conducting a number of meetings, but still, if I am here for discussion with you. So taking up the quick points. Yes, the aggregate turnover limit is 2 crores. If you are above 2 crores of aggregate turnover, then in that for the year 18-19, then you are required to file GSTR 9 mandatorily and annual return mandatorily. Right now, annual return, yes, it can be filed online directly or even through the offline utility. All your GSTR 1 and 3B should be filed. Otherwise, your button of GSTR 9 will not be triggered up. So all the returns. Sir, somebody asked me a question that I have not filed my current GSTR 1 and 3B. Does it impact? No. For the financial year 18-19, your GSTR 1 and 3B must have been filed. Moving ahead. Yes, don't forget. If you have GST number during the year 18-19, now even if the number is surrendered any time during the 18-19, you had the number. So, and the limit of 2 crore is crossed in that number, you are required to file GSTR 9. Ye mat sochega number surrendered hai, so I need not to file it, right? Moving ahead. Yes. Most of us thinks that the GSTN has already auto-populated the figures in the form GSTR 9. Sir, those are not the correct or the figures as should be shown. You know what GSTN has done? From wherever it was getting the data, may it be your GSTR 1, may it be your GSTR 3B, they have just tried to collect the data to help you. But that does not mean that the figures which are showing there in the form are the final figures. All those figures except 2-3 columns are available in editable form. Only 3 columns are there which are not in editable form. Otherwise, you can edit the figures. So, kai logon ne jab 17-18 ka return bhara, they said the figures were already there, so we just pick those figures and file the return. No, you are liable to state the correct figures. Ab wo correct figures kya hai? This is what we all are going to find out, right? So you are supposed to put the correct figures. How correct figures? That we will be discussing in a short while. सर कई बार ये फॉर्म रेड हो जाता है, ये फिगर्स रेड हो जाती हैं. दैट डज नॉट मीन्स कि आपको कोई नोटिस आएगा. हुआ क्या था, स्टार्टिंग में हम सबके ऑफिसेज में ऐसी गलतियां बहुत हुई थी. जैसे किसी ने 25,000 फिगर दिखानी थी, ओके, एक जीरो एक्स्ट्रा लग गया या एक जीरो कम लग गया. सो एंड यू नो ना 3B चेंज हो सकती है और ना ही GSTR 9. So in order to give a reference effect, a highlighting effect, an attention that please see that you have amended the figure with more or less than, means increased or decreased the figure by 20%, more than 20%, then in that case the figures get read. But sir, it is just an indication to you to check or to recheck your figure, and it is not the criteria for fixation of case. So whatever figures are there auto-populated in your GSTR 9, you must recheck those figures and change wherever required. Yes, once filed, it cannot be revised. So be careful. Yes, you have to file GSTR 9 before filing your GSTR 9C. So sequence is 9. Now, sometimes we think, where is the sequence of DRC 03? अगर हमें कोई टैक्स भरना है, तो क्या वो हमें पहले भरना जरूरी है या बाद में? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You create the liability. आप 9 भरने के बाद भी उसको भर सकते हैं. सो रादर जब आप फॉर्म 9 अपलोड करते हैं तो ये आपको DRC 03 की विंडो की तरफ डायरेक्ट भी करता है. सो फर्स्ट 9, देन यू कैन pay the tax to DRC 03, or you can pay even before that, and then you can upload your 9 and 9C. Yes, GSTR 9 is to be filed for every GSTN. So friends, please see. Let's suppose I have a branch in Kolkata. So the state is West Bengal. I have another branch which is in Siliguri. Right? Now, another state. In this case, if I have multiple branches, my Kolkata branch turnover is around 10 CR. But my Siliguri branch is having just turnover of 1 lakhs. So only 1 lakh turnover is there. Right? So now tell me, do we require to file 9 and 9C? Do we require to file 9 and 9C for Siliguri branch? Can I see the answers? Can I see the answers? Okay, Bikash is saying yes. Okay, so you are saying we are required to file it for both the branches, Kolkata also and Siliguri also. Amit ji saying also yes. Exactly. This is where the point is. You have to check the limit, aggregate turnover pan-wise. Pan-wise. Once you have crossed the limit, once you have crossed the limit of 2 crores, yes, it is crossed. It is 10 crore 1 lakh. So then you don't have to see what is the individual branch turnover. Once PAN basis you have crossed the limit, then you are required to file 9 and 9C, both for Kolkata as well as Siliguri. So don't forget to file GSTR 9 or 9C for Siliguri branch, right? Now, the next point is, yes, how should we pay the liability? Chaliye friends, let me ask you, let's suppose your client comes to you, or I say Vikasji's client comes to him. Now, Vikasji says, oh, you are a sole proprietor. He says, yes. So you have received certain commission. So why you have not paid tax on it, GST on it? He says, okay, it was coming in my saving account. So I thought it is not required to be paid. So I didn't pay. So, but he said, no, when it is coming under your PAN, whether it was coming under, you are having a GSTN number. So whether it was coming in your saving account, still you were required to pay tax on it. The person accepted it. The RTP, registered taxable person, accepted it. And it said, okay, I'm ready to pay. Now the question is, how that person is required to pay, whether he can use the credit or it has to be paid through cash. Chale, can I see the answers? It has to be paid through cash or through credit. It has to be paid through cash or through credit. So the answer is, sir, if I go by the instructions of the form GSTR 9, instructions of the form GSTR 9 says it has to be paid through cash only. Means whatever liability is arising at the time of filing of GSTR 9 for that year has to be discharged through cash. But there is a litigative issue. Amitji, right, I got your answer, cash only. But now there is a litigative factor also. The RTP, who is Vikasji's client, he says, Mr. Vikas, I have so much credit lying with me. So much credit lying with me. It was available also at that time to which commission came. It is now also available. It was available throughout. Then please allow me to use the ITC. I am not ready to pay in cash. So now see what Vikasji advises in. Vikasji says, okay, if you are ready to go into litigation, because sir, this condition of cash only, Amitji, is only and only provided in the form. Nowhere in the act or the rules there is a condition or a limitation. As a result, the litigation here goes strong. अगर ये liability जिस पीरियड की है उस पीरियड में आपके पास बहुत सारा क्रेडिट था और वो क्रेडिट रेगुलरली फ्लो कर रहा है, then if and your client is ready to bear the litigation, then you can allow him to use the credit also. But when you will be doing so, तो क्या होगा अगर आप वहां पे DRC 03 में ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट करेंगे एनुअल रिटर्न, सिलेक्ट करेंगे एनुअल रिटर्न, so it will not permit you to use credit. So you have to use cash only. But अगर आप DRC 03 में जाके annual return की जगह voluntary payment का option use करेंगे, then it will allow you to use cash as well as credit. But again say, if I go by the form instruction, you can use only cash. Going by credit is a bit litigative issue. Now, moving ahead. Last point. So if you have any RTP, registered taxable person, whose turnover is below 2 crores, are we required to file it? Chale, answer me. Are we required to file it? No, we are not mandatorily required to file it. It is not mandatory. Perfect, Vikasji. But where is the provision? If you will not file it, sir, it has been clearly stated, it shall be deemed to be furnished on due date with the figures auto-populated in the return. 2 crore se niche, if you don't file your annual return, it is deemed to have been furnished on the due date. Now, sir, अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि आपके किसी client में कोई गलती है, annual return is the last chance to correct your mistakes. Annual return is the base for your assessment. So if you feel at the time of assessment, you can face any sort of problem, if you think that assessment at the time you had certain figures have been wrongly quoted, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया 25,000 की figure 2.5 लाख हो गई, or there are certain types of issues, then as a word of caution, you can file the return for the assessee for the RTP below 2 crores also. Otherwise, it will deem to have been filed with the auto-populated figure. आपको लगता है assessment में कोई दिक्कत आएगी, so you can file it with the correct figures, right? So these were the small points. Now I come to the prerequisites. What all should be collected, sir? हम जब पिकनिक पे भी जाते हैं ना, so we make a list. I have to carry this. अब तो कोरोना में तो picnic has gone a bit far, but anyhow, we always used to collect the list, the prerequisites. So what are the prerequisites for GSTR 9? So friends, yes, you are required to say to your party, please bring audited financial statements with all the schedules, notes, and segment reports, whatever you have of the overall entity. Now, as in our case, we have our client has 2 branches. He has one branch in Kolkata, another branch in Siliguri. Then in that case, we require the bifurcated branch-wise statement also. So we must ask our client to provide us the branch-wise financial statement duly signed by him, so that that it is his responsibility to provide, and we are doing our audit reconciliation on the statements provided. Anandji, you are asking if excess turnover is reported in 3B, excess tax paid. Don't worry, sir, your message has already reached me. I have already made a part of it, right? So we will be covering it up when I will be doing practical case studies with you. Okay, now moving ahead. Yes, we require branch-wise financial statements. Sir, आप में से बहुत लोग इस time busy होंगे. बहुत लोग busy होंगे to find out the income to go for the notices of service tax. बहुत सारे notices in these days are being issued for service tax. Reason, when you go to department, they say we have got third party information. What is that third party information? They usually get the information from the income tax or the other department. So right now they have 26 AS copies with them. They have the records supplied to them by the income tax. They already had the P&L and balance sheet and 26 AS copies being supplied by income tax. So they ask you the incomes which are shown there in income tax, where is the GST on these incomes? Where is the GST on these incomes? So that is why matching with your 26 AS and income tax return should be done. Furthermore, sir, up to in the GST regime, you have GSTN linked with the PAN number, and there is direct linkage. Nowadays, the STR are getting generated. suspicious transaction report, jahan assesses mein zyada difference hai, the sales are even getting reported in STR and income tax. So you always match the client's data with all the records, may it be income tax, may it be cost records, may it be corporate records. So overall things must be checked. Of course you require books of accounts. Sir, books of accounts ke bina koi reconciliation ya audit hoga? No, you need to check the ledgers, you need to check the postings, you need to check the inter-adjustments. So for this, sir, कई बार तो हमारे पास ऐसी books आती है where accountant says closing balance मिला दिया और बीच में क्या किया होता है, you never know. They put it into miscellaneous or wherever heads. So you always should call for the books of accounts and the other records. Yes, if client is yours, then user ID password आपके पास available होगा. If not, then you must take it. Yes, financial year 17-18 annual returns. To calculate the spillover effects. Spillover effects. So 17-18 क्या return pick करेंगे? उसका part 5 table 10, 11, 12, 13 we will see and we will calculate the spillover effects. Apart from this, करंट ईयर का भी तो सब कुछ चाहिए. 3B, GSTR 1, then ECL, electronic credit ledger, ECRL, electronic cash ledger, electronic cash credit ledger, all are required. Okay, so now we are ready for the audit with all the prerequisites collected with us. But what happens, friends? We have all studied the law, but when we actually go and start doing the audit, तो हमें याद आता, oh, I might have forgot to check the provision of 180 days. So you say, okay, please, let's check the provision of 180 days. So that is why I have prepared here 20 quick summarized points for your audit. Sir, I still remember when I came to office, I was handed over a list of these things are to be checked for income tax audit. You have to check the opening balance, you have to check the cash, negative nahi hona chahiye. उस टाइम पे 20,000 लिमिट थी, आज 10,000 लिमिट है, 20,000 से ऊपर नहीं होना चाहिए, etc etc. So we always used to prepare the checklist for audit. So is your checklist of GST audit ready with you? If not, I am sure that in these 20 points you are going to add 20 more points. So let's see what are the points which we must consider while doing the audit. First, yes, you must reconcile your income and receipt as per P&L account and GST returns. I will show you an Excel sheet also. I just show you here in a while how I do it. Here it is. Right. So friends, when I go for the audits, I like this, prepare a RICO with me. You can see it on the screen. I always take the P&L of my client before touching the GST returns. I study the balance sheet. I study the income and expenditure or the P&L account. Not income and expenditure. Doctors pe to hai nahi. So let me come to the profit and loss account. So profit and loss account hum pick karte hain. Like I have brought here one of the person who is a liquor dealer, right? It's a distillery. So distillery mein, for example, I always classify पूरा P&L का credit side उठा लीजिए. Sir, idea भी मिल जाएगा कि client की किस तरह की incomes है, उसके किस तरह के expenses है. What sort of incomes is he having? What sort of expenses is he having? Right? So this is what we do. This is the income. Now I check, sir, हमारी knowledge हम gather करते रहते हैं. अच्छा जी, Vikas Banka ji saying only 15 days left. How we can do it now? Sir, it is not so difficult to do. It is not so difficult. I have just taken from my client his entire data in the Excel also. Or if you don't have this books RICO, take very less time, sir, very less time. What you have to do, pick his P&L account, just put the incomes, and once go through it. Sir, our knowledge keeps on changing. हमारा कल कुछ और, it is an evolving law. We also change ourselves. So that is what we are going to do. Revenue from operations, P&L account I picked, and then I checked which the country liquor sale and the spirit sale is exempt, right? Then Then we went to what are the incomes. Scrap sales should be taxable. Lease rentals should be taxable. Do study it. He has sold the brand. Though the income from the brand sale should have been taxable, on which the client was not paying the tax. Even when I was checking it, I got the issues in the spirits also, ethanol also, which is 95% alcohol, not fit for human consumption. So a number of issues arises. I divided his income from the P&L account, that post office rent, house guest charges, guest house, etc., which are not liable or which are liable. I divided the income into 3. Sir, इस साल तो 12 months है. Last time तो I bifurcated it into 9 and 3. Now 12 months का taxable income, 12 months का exempt, non-GST and the no supplies. So when we bifurcated, then I match this income with my GST return income. And that is also very, very simple to match, which I will share with you. Now, in this case, similar way expenses. When I was checking the expenses, I asked the party, where is your freight? Have you paid RCM in it? Because आप distillery हैं, आप goods मंगवाते हैं, goods भेजते हैं. They said the freight is included in the purchases. I marked the freight included in the purchases. I marked the advocate fee being covered under the legal head to check it for RCM purposes. So I marked the CSR expenses on which they claimed. Then I asked for their HSN on sales, whether they have correctly used it, whether the tax. Sir, एक नजर तो देखिए, ये उसके expenses का detail था. Staff welfare. So I took it from them that which expenses they are claiming ITC, whether they are eligible or not, their depreciation chart. Don't forget, you have to check the sale of assets. The disposals are marked because consideration or no consideration, without consideration also, if the asset is discarded, no consideration, asset is discarded, still you are required to pay GST if you have taken the credit. So all these points need to be considered. And sir, बैंक का audit भी तो करते हैं, branch का, इतनी बड़ी branch को 3 दिन में समेट आते हैं. So this is your client's audit for which you have been filing the regular returns, right? So these are the things which must be considered. Coming back to the PPT portion. Now, here we were. Right. So P&L and GST returns should be reconciled. RCM, foreign payments. Sir, can you tell me on which incomes are we required to pay RCM? On which income, which expenditures we are required to pay RCM? Which expenditures we are required to pay RCM? We are required to pay RCM on foreign payments. Bilkul correct, Vikas ji. GTA. What else? Foreign payments, GTA, advocate. Then we have perfect advocate fee, director remuneration, sponsorship service, so many. But sir, these GT and advocate fee are very, very common ones, right? Now, let me ask you. You must check whether the RCM, जैसे अभी मैंने कहा, freight was included in the purchase figure, should have been segregated. Gaurav ji is going to OIDAR. Yes, perfect, sir. Now, security. Yes, beyond doubt, security. Now, let me ask you a question. चलिए, ऐसे देखते हैं. हम यही ले लेते हैं example. विकास जी का एक firm है, proprietorship hai, B&, which is a proprietorship concern, and he has one with Vikas ji also, BV & Company, right? Now in this case he took a GTA service. Vikas ji ka the sale turnover in this was, this turnover was just 15 lakhs. Don't worry, this is the new one, I know it's in crores, so 15 lakhs here also. Now he took the GTA service of 30,000. Now tell me, are they liable to take the mandatory registration under GST? Are they liable to take mandatory registration under GST? Yes or no? Okay, Vikasji saying no. I need the provision, Vikasji. You are saying it for both or you are saying it for one? Come on, please give me answers. I want to see the chat box full. Yes. Providing services to unregistered individual. Unregistered individual is exempt. So sir, B and company will be covered by the exemption. No tax is liable to be discharged, so no mandatory registration. But B, V and company is not covered by exemption, so hence mandatory registration required. So what we are required, sir, कई बार हमारे पास client आता है, उसने कई services ली होती है. I gave you the example of GTA. Now let me discuss the example, same example, but with advocate service. Now tell me, will you suggest your client that you are required to get registered? Yes or no? Yes or no? Chale, yes or no? So Anand ji, your answer was correct. Gaurav ji, your answer was correct. Right? Moving ahead. Anand ji saying no. Okay. What is the provision, Anand ji? Sir, for advocate also, we have serial number 45 of same notification 12 by 2017. And this time the wordings are the advocate providing legal services to a business entity with a turnover less than the threshold limit of 20 lakhs. Hence, the exemption will be available to BV and company also. As a result, now they are also not required to take the mandatory registration. So ultimately, these are the points which are required to be considered. So you must check if your client has made any sort of foreign payments, RCM should have been paid. Freight, GTA, all these are required to be considered. Yes, when you are going to check ITC, सर द आईटीसी प्रोविजन में सबसे ज्यादा सेक्शन 16 और सेक्शन 17 का रेलेवेंस आता है. Section 16 and section 17. Section 16 has 4 conditions. Tax paid hona chahiye, document tax invoice hona chahiye, then you have returns filed honi chahiye, and actual receipt of goods and services honi chahiye. Sir, nowadays the fake invoices rackets are very much there. You know, प्रॉपर सप्लायर भी होता है, जीएसटीएन नंबर भी होता है, पेमेंट भी बाय चेक हुई होती है. व्हाट इज मिसिंग? टैक्स पे नहीं होता. द पर्सन व्हाट ही डज, ही फाइल्स जीएसटीआर 1 बट डज नॉट फाइल जीएसटीआर 3. जीएसटीआर 1 फाइल करता है, 2A में रिफ्लेक्ट करता है, 2A में रिफ्लेक्शन भी आता है. बट व्हाट इज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट थिंग टू प्रूव? Actual receipt of goods or services. I myself encountered this situation. I was doing an audit. I said him, okay, open the e-way bill of this. When he opened, I checked the vehicle number, and when I put the vehicle number, it was showing a scooter. It was showing a scooter. 100 tons of material being coming on a scooter showed that it was fake entry. So we need to be vigilant a bit. All these conditions must be checked. You must check that whether the conditions of section 17 are complied with or not. What the passenger was for the vehicles which are below 13-seater, credit should not have been taken. Their insurance claims should not have been taken. The GST on that should not have been claimed as ITC. The health insurance should not have been taken. All the works contract service. Now, how you can render benefit to your client is like, otherwise the credits as per law is not allowed. But if you want your client to have the benefit of judgment of Odisha High Court, In case of safari retreat, you can say him avail, but don't utilize the credit under a covering letter to the department. Don't add it to your capital asset and don't claim depreciation. So that the case of Odisha High Court, which as of now is pending in SLP with the Supreme Court and has a stay, so that should be considered, which is pending in SLP, so that kal ko jab koi favorable decision aata hai, you will be able to take the benefit of that judgment. So otherwise the credits are disallowed of works contract service, goods and services for the construction purposes. Negative list should be properly watched for. Yes, the criteria of 180 days, for which the business sector is quite disturbed, that the taxes, they cannot control the operational mode. They cannot control the operational mode. So the criteria of 180 days, sir, there is a loophole in it also, because Rule 37, this is the escape route. Rule 37 says and refers to GSTR 2. The liability to be added to the output, but GSTR 2 has not come up. So that is why we can say we need not to comply with this condition. No, Anandji, no relief has come for 180 days during the pandemic. Although despite of several representations being sent, no relief has yet come. So only Rule 37 reference to GSTR 2 can be escape route, but still, you must give a note in your GSTR 9C that even on being set to the party, the same as whether the liability of 180 days has been discharged or not. And you all know, for example, it is an invoice dated Jan 1. Invoice dated Jan 1. 6 months, 180 days are approximately given. And if you make the payment in August, the liability of interest arises from Jan 1, the date of taking the credit. So 180 days plus, it would have July and August, 2 months plus 2 months. So 180 days bhi add ho jayenge, huge interest liability. So the disclosure with this respect must form part of your GSTR 9C. Moving ahead, if your client has taken the refunds, do check if he has taken it under export category, whether he complied with the conditions of export. Second, if he has taken under inverted duty, is it the case of inverted duty? Inverted duty arises when the rate of inputs is higher than the rate on output. And sir, let me take the example of cement industry. In cement industry, there is credit accumulation. But the credit accumulation is not due to the rate, it is due to the valuation. वो क्या करते हैं, बाहर से बैग इंपोर्ट करते हैं 280 का, कस्टम वैल्यू करता है 300 पे, ड्यूटी लगती है 300 पे, और लेट्स सपोज 310 पे. सो वो अपना 20 मार्जिन अर्न करते हैं, 300 पे सेल कर देते हैं. सेल 310 पे इनपुट, क्रेडिट accumulation is there. But this is not due to rate. Rate 28% import पे भी है, rate 28% output पे भी है. You are doing the trading, you are not eligible for inverted duty. Not because of trading even, because that circular जिसने अभी trading का refer किया है, circular 135, again I say it is ultra vires the law, but law को भी अगर हम पढ़े, section 54 says rate difference should be there, rate difference, and there is no rate difference. Rate पहले भी 28 था, आज भी 28 ही है, right? So these points are need to be considered. HSN or SAC correctly लगे हैं, rates correct हैं, closing balances are matching as per the balance sheet and the portal. Sir, बहुत सारी discrepancies पकड़ी जाती हैं. Now, coming to the valuation part, whether the conditions of section 15 are complied. Addition, आपका client ने कपड़ा supply किया, उसमें transit insurance और freight लगाया, क्या उस पे GST charge किया? Composite supply. आपने PWD के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया 100 करोड़ का, उसने कहा 20 करोड़ का आयरन और स्टील मैं दूंगा, 20 करोड़ आपका नहीं दिया, 80 करोड़ दिया आपको, the GST is payable on 100 crores. Section 15(2)(b, liability of the supplier met by the recipient is to be added. So these are the points which must be checked while doing the audit. Yes, income tax ka audit or other audits, so we never do without documents. So GST also, in GST also you need to check the documents. Whether the tax invoices, credit note, debit note have been duly issued. RCM, sir, where we issue self invoices? Where we issue self invoices? Yeah, where we issue self invoices? It is issued in case of RCM, but only unregistered person. Only from unregistered person. Yes, from URD. Perfect, Anandji. It is from URD. So RCM from URD is self-invoices required. Example, I'm taking the services, legal services from an advocate who is registered and also from the advocate who is not registered. Self-invoicing is required only when the other person is unregistered. You need to check whether the provisions of बहुत discrepancy मिलती है sir self-invoicing में. Branch transfers. Abhi jab I will discuss the concept of aggregate turnover, I will come to it. 2A. Sir, 2A reconciliation was never required by law. In the year 1819, उस time तो rule 36(4) भी नहीं था. It was not required. But still, I always suggest you to, sir, match it. Reason. Some document which is available on the public domain, which the officer can use against you. How you can say, I will not reconcile it? I say you, there is a purchase of 10 lakhs, which is there in 2A. Your client has not shown it. Do you need not to confront him? कि भाई ये 10 लाख का टर्नओवर तूने इनपुट तूने नहीं दिखाया, परचेज तूने नहीं दिखाया. He says, oh my God, I thought कि ये तो दिखाना ही नहीं है, पक्के का नहीं है, right? So liability is yours. So 2A must be matched. Fixed asset ka sale, I will tell you when I will cover aggregate turnover. Interest liability. Whenever there is any interest liability, please do check the same is duly being discharged. Sir, जिस month में late fee होती है और चालान होता है, उस केस में interest की liability आएगी ही आएगी. That must have been paid. Next point, cross charge between the branches is correctly done or not. And the last is wherever there is exempt supply, the rule 4243 must have been considered for. So these are the 20 points in which you will be enhancing more, right? So now let's move further. Sir, you all know GSTR 9 is not applicable in case of ISD, person paying tax under 5152, right? CTP, NRTP. For composition also 9A was the form. Now for the year 1819, that is also not required to be filed and so on. So, but now my question to you is, I have a client, I say Urban Clap. So now, does Urban Clap is required to file GSTR 9? Is he required to file GSTR 9? Sir, the words written here are person paying tax under 5152. And Urban Clap is not required to deduct or to collect TCS. I just explained. सर आप बोलोगे हो सकता है आपके पास ई-कॉमर्स का क्लाइंट ना हो, खुद ई-कॉमर्स ना हो, बट आपके पास वो क्लाइंट जरूर है जो सप्लाई करते हैं थ्रू ई-कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर. Now see, sir, e-commerce operator का full concept is the part of this chart in front of you. E-commerce operator अगर अपने goods supply करता है, अगर आप अपनी वेबसाइट बना के अपने goods supply करते हैं, not an e-commerce operator. No question of TCS, no question of कि आपको compulsory registration होना है. No, you are not an e-commerce operator. And अगर आपका सिर्फ एक informational portal है, only an informational portal, even then you are not an e-commerce operator. Now comes what an e-commerce operator is. सर ई कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर मीन्स जो किसी और के गुड्स अपने पोर्टल से सप्लाई कर रहा है, प्रोवाइडिंग द ई कॉमर्स, द प्लेटफॉर्म टू डू इट. नाउ हो सकता है यू आर सप्लाइंग गुड्स और सर्विसेज थ्रू ई कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर. अगर मैं गुड्स की बात करूं, एग्जाम्पल Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, so many names are there. If the person, I'm talking about the person supplying goods through e-commerce operator, then TCS is required to be collected and registration of both e-commerce operator as well as the person who is supplying goods through e-commerce operator, both are mandatory. TCS भी लगेगा, goods में कोई doubt नहीं. Now let's come to services. Services, sir, in case of services are divided into two parts, 9(5) or other services. 9(5), section 9 is the charging section. Section 9 is the charging section. It says only three, it refers to only three types of service. One, aggregator model, Ola, Uber. Second is your hotel accommodation, वो होटल जो 20 लाख से बिलो है. थर्ड, हाउसकीपिंग, अर्बन क्लैब. सर गवर्नमेंट सेड कितना मुश्किल है ना, हर ड्राइवर के पास में जाऊं वहां से कलेक्शन करूं, हर इलेक्ट्रीशियन के पास में जाऊं वहां से कलेक्शन करूं. नो, हाई एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कॉस्ट. They are not suppliers for me. Sir, normally e-commerce operator, e-commerce transaction has three persons involved: supplier, receiver, and the in-between e-commerce operator. But in section 9(5), it has been said the supplier and the e-commerce operator will be one. E-commerce operator, you will be taken as deemed supplier. Deemed supplier. It means when I am the deemed supplier and another is the recipient, तो TCS किस पे लगेगा? किसी पे नहीं लगेगा. No TCS. No mandatory registration for the driver, for the electrician, for the plumber. No. Now, what about other services? Example, Swiggy, Zomato. Sir, a restaurant providing food services through this. What will happen? What will happen? If he is unregistered, sir, पहले उसको registration लेना mandatory था. फिर आई नोटिफिकेशन 65/17, उसने कहा अगर आप ई कॉमर्स पोर्टल के थ्रू सर्विसेज दे रहे हैं, सर गुड्स की कोई एग्जेम्पशन नहीं है, ओनली सर्विसेज. सर्विसेज दे रहे हैं और आपकी वो सर्विसेज 20 लाख या 10 लाख एज पर योर स्टेट से कम है, then in that case आप registration mandatory नहीं कराइए. But once you cross the threshold, TCS will become applicable. Now, sir, I can say e-commerce operator are of two types. One liable to TCS, one not liable to TCS. जिनके ऊपर TCS लगता है, they are not covered by GSTR 9. Right? Now, moving ahead. 9C also you know, through section 35, section 44 and rule 80 में इसके provisions हैं. Now, what is the late fee? ना फाइल करने पे 100 रुपीज पर डे का डिफॉल्ट है और अब तक 50,000 प्लस हो गया होगा, अराउंड 50,000 फॉर लास्ट ईयर 17-18. मैक्सिमम कैप भी है विच इज 0.50% ऑफ द टर्नओवर. 0.50% of the turnover. Okay. Now moving ahead, you all know कि 2 करोड़ तक 9 मैंडेटरी नहीं है और 9C तो सर एप्लीकेबल ही नहीं है. 9C तो 5 करोड़ से ऊपर ही है और ये बेनिफिट अब गवर्नमेंट ने 1920 पे भी एक्सटेंड किया है. सो 2 करोड़ से नीचे कुछ भी नहीं फाइल करने की जरूरत, ना ही ऑप्शनल है. 2 to 5 एक मैंडेटरी, एक नॉट एप्लीकेबल, एंड अबव 5 करोड़ बोथ आर मैंडेटरी. बोथ आर मैंडेटरी. सर 2 करोड़ पढ़ लिया, 5 करोड़ पढ़ लिया, करना किसका है? करना है एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर चेक. Aggregate turnover check. It is to be checked on all India basis. I gave you the example. It includes your exempt supply also. सब practical question आता है petrol pumps का, liquor वालों का. So yes, the non-GST supply, the non-taxable supply, to be more specific, is also to be added. So all the petrol pumps, their turnover will be added. Petrol pump, liquor, the 5 petroleum products, those all will be added, and then the turnover limit will be checked. The PAN, persons having PAN branch transfers are also to be added. Now, sir, the sale of capital goods will be added. The schedule 1 supplies will also be added. So aggregate, हम किसके according aggregate turnover निकाल रहे हैं? GST के according. Now let me ask you one question. I have a forex dealer. Say I have a forex dealer. Forex dealer में आपको पता है 1% का rule है, rule 32. I say 100 करोड़ की total currency transaction है उसकी. 100 करोड़ की total currency transaction है. 1% is the value. Now, how will you calculate the aggregate turnover? 100 crores or 1% of 100 crores? Tell me, what should be the turnover? 100 crores or 1% of 100 crores? Sir, it is 1% of 100 crores. So, if the person is covered by Rule 32, Forex dealer, air travel, whosoever, the turnover is to be taken as per GST, as per GST. So now friends, we are actually, after having the law, we are now actually moving towards the GSTR 9. GSTR 9. I hope you all are with me and I can say yes. I can see yes in the chat box. Okay, got it, Gaurav ji. सर मुझे ऐसा ही लग रहा था कि कहीं सब चले तो नहीं गए. So Gaurav ji, Amit ji, Anand ji, I am getting all your answers. Yes, yes, yes. So let's move forward. Practical now we are going to do with the example. Sanjay ji got your reply also. Chaliye. Now friends, GSTR 9 has all these parts. All these parts. I will not take the entire format length, but I will tell you that what are the points that should be considered. Sir, part 1, basic information. No issues. Yes, these 3 parts. These 3 parts. These 3 parts. If I would have said you, please tell me how to draft the GSTR 9. क्लाइंट के बारे में पूछना चाहेंगे, क्या पूछेंगे? आप बोलेंगे पहले मुझे आउटपुट बताओ. अच्छा, आउटपुट नहीं, ये बताओ टैक्स किस किस पे भरा है. इसका मतलब आउटवर्ड सप्लाई प्लस इनवर्ड जिस पे टैक्स भरा है. डन. कुछ ऐसी सप्लाई भी है जिस पे टैक्स नहीं भरा है, एग्जेम्प्ट, और जिस पे टैक्स नहीं भरा है, टैक्स नहीं भरा है. ओके. अच्छा, ये तो आउटपुट की बात हो गई. मुझे इनपुट भी बताओ. इनपुट 2 डॉक्यूमेंट से आते हैं. आपने कितना इनपुट लिया? 3B और 2A. ओके. आपने कितना टैक्स पे किया? टैक्स पेड. अल्टीमेटली आउटपुट, इनपुट एंड द टैक्स पेड. So sir, this is how GSTR 9 is drafted. Table 4 and 5 deals with output. Table 6, 7, 8 deals with input. 3B, 2A. Table 9 deals with कितना tax payable था, कितना पे किया. So जब सब कुछ इसी टेबल में आ गया, output आ गई, input आ गई, everything is covered, then what was the need of this part 5? Sir, government says you are filing the information for 1819. 1819. 1819 के pertaining 1819 का जो डेटा 1819 में ही डाल दिया, उसको तो आप यहां तक दिखाइए। अल्टीमेटली सेइंग अप्रैल 18 से लेकर मार्च 19 तक का डेटा पार्ट 2, 3, 4 में आएगा। बट गवर्नमेंट सेड 18-19 की करेक्शन के लिए चांस मैंने आपको अगले 6 मंथ्स भी दिया था। मैंने आपको बोला था 18-19 की अगर कोई करेक्शन रह गई हो तो वो आप कर लेना अप्रैल 19 से सितंबर 19 तक की रिटर्नों में। गवर्नमेंट सेड मुझे ये डाटा अलग से प्रोवाइड करो। So that was the reason of part 5. Section 16(4) said the credit notes adjustment, whatever the corrections pertaining to 18-19 done post March 19 will show in part 5. सर सेम टेबल, आउटपुट के 2 टेबल, इनपुट के 2 टेबल और पेड का 1 टेबल. So that is how we have table 10 and 11 deals with output, 12 and 13 deals with input, and table 14 deals with your tax paid. Sir, part 6 optional हो गया है. Job worker की information, goods sent approval basis की information, I'm not going to discuss it. So where we are focusing what and how the figures to be shown in part 2, 3 and 4 and part 5. So let's have a look. Sir, part GSTR 9, part 2, table number 4, the most important. I will also be sharing the recent press release also. Now friends, look. पार्ट 2 के टेबल 4 में फिगर्स ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड होके आती हैं B2B B2C, लेकिन ये ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड फिगर आती हैं GSTR 1 से. एंड आई टेल यू वन थिंग, GSTR 1 is the last document which I consider for filing GSTR 9. Is the last document which I consider for filing GSTR 9. I always say GSTR 3B prevails over GSTR 1. Why? Sir, the GSTR 9 is a tax-oriented return. Tax-oriented. This says that GSTR 9 says आपने टैक्स भरा, फिगर यहाँ दिखा दीजिए. So ultimately the figure should flow from 3B. But कौन सी 3B? Only March 19 up to March 19 की 3B. अगर कोई करेक्शन March 19 की 3B के बाद की है वो कहां चली जाएगी? पार्ट 5. वो कहां चली जाएगी? पार्ट 5 में. सो प्लस जो आज तक किसी 3B में नहीं दिखाया, यानी जिस पे आपने टैक्स पे ही नहीं किया. याद है वो कमीशन वाला पर्सन, वो कमीशन जिसके ऊपर उसने आज तक टैक्स ही नहीं पे किया, that will come here. That will come here. So ultimately saying, in short words, I have put this arrow for you. टेबल 4 में कौन सा डेटा आएगा? पहली बात सिर्फ मार्च 19 तक का, ओनली एंड ओनली ऑफ मार्च 19. देन प्लस मार्च 19 तक का pertaining to 18-19. सर दिस इज व्हाट योर प्रेस रिलीज सेज कि टेबल 4 में कोई इंपैक्ट 17-18 का नहीं होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए. नाउ in this case data as per what we have, data as per 3B till March 19 ही लेना है, प्लस जो आज तक कहीं नहीं दिखाया एडिशनल लायबिलिटी जो आज तक कहीं नहीं दिखाई. Section 54 वाला पॉइंट सर. Is my PPT visible?
Yes.
Is it moving, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Gaurav ji, you please just check it at your level if you are feeling anything like that. Right. Now, friends, let me have the practical case studies with you. Let me have the practical case studies. Here it is. Sir, practical case studies पे जाने से पहले let me show you the part 5 also. Part 5 we have two, table 10, 11, 12, 13. Table 10 and 11 deals with liability and table 12 and 13 deals with inputs. So now see, but sir, part 5 में कौन सी इंफॉर्मेशन आएगी? 18-19 की जो एडजस्टमेंट आपने 19-20 में की है, 18-19 का कोई एडजस्टमेंट जो आपने 19-20 में किया है, सर इसमें कोई इंपैक्ट 17-18 का दिखाने का क्वेश्चन ही अराइज नहीं होता, राइट? सो लेट मी गो टू द एग्जांपल्स नाउ. हियर वी आर. चलिए देखते हैं. पहले मैं एक इनवॉइस का एग्जांपल करा दूं. आपका एक इनवॉइस था जिसकी डॉक्यूमेंट डेट थी 7/7/18. I need answers from you, right? 7/7/18. This invoice was of ₹100. This invoice was of ₹100. The document date was 7/7/18. The document date was 7/7/18. Now in this case, I showed the document in GSTR 1 and also in 3B with ₹80. 20 I amended in May 2019. Now let me ask you where it should be shown, part 2 or part 5? Tell me where it should be shown, part 2 or part 5? Part 2 or part 5? Okay, Amit ji saying part 5. Vikas ji saying part 5. No, it sir ₹80 3B में रिपोर्ट कर दिए थे August 18 में ही. So this ₹80 should go to part 2. Part 2 only. The ₹20 which were amended in May 19 will go to part 5. Table 10. I hope I am able to make the point. Second, invoice was dated 5/9/18 and was not shown. Where should it go? Where should it go? It should be shown in. It should be shown in. Okay, Parag ji saying part 2. Perfect. The invoice which is not shown anywhere, perfect, because the should go to part 2. Should go to part 2. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Now let me come to with the figures. Kahan se figure uthani hai? This is what our issue was. So let's see from where to pick the figures. Your book saying 15,000 turnover. 3B saying 15,000, 1 saying 15,000. What an ideal situation. All matching, no issues. All will go to table number 4. All will go to table number 4. Second, book saying 15,000, 3B saying 10,000. You corrected the 3B, but in the year 1920. Now tell me how the figures will be shown. How the figures will be shown. Where should it go? Parag ji saying 10,000 in table 2. Okay, and 5,000 in 5. Perfect answer. So 10,000 will go to table 2 and 15. Because ji, no, 15,000 will not go to table 2. Reason, the correction of 5,000 was done in post-March 19. Post-March 19. So this will go to table number 5, part number 5, table number 10. Perfect, Amit ji. Perfect, Vijay ji. Perfectly okay. Now, moving ahead. Because I hope I am able to clarify the point. This correction of 5,000 was done in post-March 19. Post-March 19. Now, moving ahead. 15,000 turnover. 10,000 in 3B. 10,000 in 1. Never corrected. Never corrected. Now tell me where should it go? Parag ji saying पूरा 15 का 15 part 5 में दिखाइएगा. Okay, Pragji, recheck it. Okay, you mentioned in 2. Vikas Banka ji saying 15K in part 2. Perfect, Vikas ji. Right, absolutely. And this, for this entire value, reason, remember the old one? Whatever is shown in 3B, this, plus whatever is not shown anywhere. What is that not shown anywhere? Is this 5,000. Is this 5,000. So ultimately the entire 15,000 will go to table number 4, part number 2. For the difference, you have to pay DRC 03. Perfectly okay. Now let's see the next example. Sir, your books are saying 15,000. 3B is saying 10,000. GSTR 1 is saying 10,000. You corrected it, but you corrected partially. 2,500. Now tell me. Now tell me what should go to part 2 and what should go to part 5. Paragji saying 12,500 to part 2 and 2,500 to part 5. Perfect, sir. Perfect. Anandji, correct. Absolutely correct. Table 4, 12,500. Again, the same formula. What is shown in 3B? 10,000 plus not shown anywhere, 2,500. Right? DRC 03 is required to be paid for this 2,500. And what is corrected in 19B will go to table number 10. Will go to table number 10. Now let's see the next example. Sir, this time your 3B and 1 both are not matching. 15,000 in the books. 3B you showed 15,000. But GSTR 1, this 5,000 you corrected post March 19. Now tell me where it should go. Tell me where it should go. Yeah, can I have the answers? Okay. Vikas Banka ji saying part 2. Parag ji saying 10,000 in part 4. Or table 4. Okay. Any other? No need to do anything. Okay. Sir, value to दिखाओगे कहीं ना कहीं. Gaurav Agarwal ji saying 15,000 in part 2 and DRC in 5,000. No. एक बात बताइए गौरव जी, DRC कैसे आएगा? आपने 15,000 का 15,000 3B में दिखाया हुआ है. 3B, perfect Vikas ji, perfect Parag ji. The entire amount of 15,000 will go to table number 4. Reason, 3B prevails over GSTR 1. Tax paid किससे पता लगता है? 3B से. 3B में 15,000 आ रहा है. आपने GSTR 1 में बाद में भी दिखाया, कोई बात नहीं. DRC 03 गौरव जी नहीं आएगा. Reason, the tax has already been paid. DRC 03 does not allow. जो पोस्ट मार्च 19 करेक्शन की हो तो 1 में की है, 3B में तो की ही नहीं है. So the entire value will go to table 4. It means 3B will prevail over GSTR 1. सर, आपकी जो ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड फिगर आती है वो GSTR 1 से आती है. ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड फिगर 10,000 आएगी, आपको चेंज करनी होगी. You need to change that. Let's see, अगले में भी चेंज करनी होगी. Now give me the answer. 15,000, 3B में 10, corrected post March 19. What should be the answer? What should be the answer? Anand ji saying 10,000. Okay, move ahead. Yes, correct. Table 4, 10,000. Table 10 will have 5,000. Perfect, Vikas ji. 5,000 in part 10 will go. Kamlesh ji, correct. Value flow from 3B. Parag ji, table T4, 10,000 and 5. The part 5 will have 5,000. Perfect. Sir, पार्टी को क्रेडिट प्रकाश जी 9 के थ्रू नहीं मिलता. How party will get the credit in GSTR 9 is not the base to avail the credit for the party, right? आपने आपके 3B और 1 में फर्क था, आपने करेक्ट कर दिया, क्रेडिट तो उसको मिल गया होगा. आपने GSTR 1 में करेक्शन कर दी, बात ये पहले की या बाद में की? आपने GSTR 1, सर जब आप 19-20 में जाके GSTR 1 करेक्ट करेंगे ना, तो उसको क्रेडिट उसी पीरियड में मिलता है, उसी पीरियड में, उसी ईयर में जाके, राइट? GSTR 9 के थ्रू कभी क्रेडिट नहीं फ्लो करता, इट फ्लोज थ्रू GSTR 1. प्रकाश जी, आई होप योर पॉइंट इज क्लैरिफाइड नाउ. नाउ फ्रेंड्स, ये तो हमने बात की आउटपुट के रिगार्डिंग, टर्नओवर के रिगार्डिंग. टर्नओवर में व्हाट वी टॉक्ड अबाउट, टेबल 4 में फिगर्स दिखानी है टैक्सेबल. इसी में सर आपकी इनवर्ड सप्लाईज भी आती हैं, विच ऑन विच द टैक्स अंडर RCM इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी पेड. इसमें अनएडजस्टेड एडवांसेस भी आते हैं. सर जो एडवांसेस का बिल कट गया वो या तो B2B में चले जाएंगे या B2C में चले जाएंगे, उनका तो बिल ही कट गया, वो तो सेल ही बन गई. जो बैलेंस शीट में क्लोजिंग एडवांस रह गया है, that will be taxable under GST added under the advances. Right now, apart from this, सर पहले यहाँ पे ऑप्शन थी कि B2B इनवॉइसेस को ग्रॉस करके दिखाएं, और जो भी इनका चेंज है उसके क्रेडिट नोट्स हैं, that should be shown separately under these columns. Then the government gave the option कि आप वहीं पे नेट ऑफ करके दिखा सकते हैं B2B supplies को ही. But I suggest you, if you have the information, that should be shown here. Moving ahead, we are going to talk about the input table. सर input table करते ही अब हमारा बेस रेडी हो गया कि हमें फिगर से उठानी कैसे है. I will directly move on to the spillover effects. सर GSTR 9 का टेबल नंबर 6 इनपुट के साथ डील करता है. 3B से पहली वैल्यू ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड आती है, ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड. और देखो ना सर, गवर्नमेंट कहती है not to show any value of the preceding financial year in the current year annual return. अरे भाई साहब उनसे बोलो, अपनी वैल्यू तो 3B में आ रही है आपकी, the auto populated figures which are coming there. सर आप अलग नहीं कर सकते सिंपली, तो GSTN क्या अलग करेगा? GSTN बाबा को कुछ नहीं पता कि आपने जो फिगर डाली है वो 17-18 की डाली है कि 18-19 की डाली. He does not know anything. So now 3B will be, this figures from 3 will be auto populated. It will first impact जहां पे 17-18 की figures included होंगे. Now इनवर्ट सप्लाईज, सर पहले इशू था बाइफिकेट करना था इनपुट. सर 6B is one of the important one. I will show you. And 6M column सबसे important है spillover effects. 6B, 6J and 6M, 3 columns. Now I will show you inward supplies. सर पहले ये ऑप्शन दे दी, बाइफिकेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपने 19-20 की नोटिफिकेशन भी पढ़ ली है, उसमें उन्होंने कहा है कैपिटल गुड्स बाइफिकेट करने की जरूरत है. इनपुट और इनपुट सर्विस वहां पे भी बाइफिकेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. बट फॉर द ईयर 18-19 नो बाइफिकेशन ऑफ इनपुट, कैपिटल गुड्स और इनपुट सर्विस इज रिक्वायर्ड. नाउ लेट्स हैव अ लुक ऑन द टेबल ने. सर जो टेबल 6 है, टेबल 6 में 3B से फिगर ऑटो पॉपुलेटेड होता है. हम 6B में अपनी फिगर डालते हैं, अगर उसमें कोई डिफरेंस हो तो दैट कम्स अंडर 6J. सर इंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ फॉर्म सेज आइडियली 6J शुड बी 0, बट आई विल टेल यू जब आप नोटिफिकेशन को कंप्लाई करेंगे आपका ये डिफरेंस इस बार 0 नहीं आएगा. राइट सर, कई लोगों को दिक्कत आ रही है कि ट्रान 1 के क्रेडिट शो हो रहे हैं. सर रिमूव कर दीजिएगा, टेक्निकल एरर है, गलती है, GSTN बाबा की गलती है, माफ कर दीजिएगा. नाउ डिफरेंस, सर एक यहाँ कॉलम है 6M, जो कहीं नहीं आया वो यहाँ डाल दो. 6M says the ITC which is any other ITC, वो यहाँ डाल दो. अभी I will show you how we will move for it. सर टेबल 7, 2 तरीके होते हैं दिखाने के. 100 - 20 is 80. और डायरेक्टली 80। सर अगर तो आपने अपनी 3B में 100 minus 80 शो किया है, 100 minus 20, this 100 will go to table 6, this 20 will go to table 7. But if you have shown only 80, then nothing will come in table 7, entire value will go to table 6. Right? So sir, let me discuss the practical example of this with you. Sir, table 8A आप सबको पता है 8A वैल्यू उठाता था 2B से. 8AB में I show you first. Sir, table 8. टेबल 8 में 2A का रिकंसिलेशन था. कईयों की ये वैल्यू मैच नहीं कर रही. सर गवर्नमेंट ने आपकी बात सुनी और एक डॉक्यूमेंट इंट्रोड्यूस किया. हियर इट इज, जस्ट हियर, डाउनलोड टेबल 8A डॉक्यूमेंट डिटेल. अब इसमें वो आपको बताता है कौन सा आईटीसी एलिजिबल और कौन सा नहीं, कौन सा मैं उठाऊंगा कौन सा नहीं. एग्जांपल, आई एम फ्रॉम पंजाब, आई कम टू कोलकाता, स्टे इन अ होटल देयर. क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा, कोलकाता का क्रेडिट मुझे नहीं मिलेगा. सो दैट इज व्हाई वो 2A में तो आएगा बट वो यहां पिक नहीं करेगा. इन एलिजिबल, एलिजिबिलिटी 0. So this has been, but despite of this, quite many cases are there जहां पे अभी भी 8A और 2A मैच नहीं करता. As in one of my case, my value is coming 0 in 8A, whereas crores of credit is lying over there. Right? Now let's move ahead. अब देखिए इसका practical example क्या है. Practical example के बाद हम spillover effects पे आएंगे. Sir, practical example में I just crossed the slide, just a minute. Yeah, here. Sir, inputs की बात करें, मेरी books में input था 1 lakh, 3B में था 1 lakh, but 2A में था 1 lakh 5. Sir, ये 5000 क्रेडिट मेरा नहीं था, ये लैप्स कर जाना चाहिए था और ये लैप्स करेगा. 6A always takes value from 3B, 1 लाख. 6B आप भी क्या दिखाएंगे, 1 लाख बुक्स के अकॉर्डिंग, कोई डिफरेंस नहीं. 8A टेक्स द वैल्यू फ्रॉम 2A, 1,05,000. अब 8B, सर 8B वैल्यू पुट करता है 6 से, 6B 5,000 लैप्स, 5,000 लैप्स. लेट्स सी द अनदर एग्जांपल. आपकी बुक्स में इनपुट था 1,05,000. 3B में आपने 1 लाख दिखा दिया बट 5,000 पोस्ट मार्च करेक्ट किया, पोस्ट मार्च. सो एज अ रिजल्ट अब क्या होगा, आपकी जो 3B में वैल्यू आ रही है 1 लाख, आपने 1 लाख दिखाया, याद है पार्ट 3 में सिर्फ मार्च तक. सो 6B में आप कितना दिखाएंगे, 1 लाख. आपने पोस्ट मार्च 19 करेक्ट किया 5,000. दैट विल गो टू योर टेबल नंबर 13. नाउ 8A विल टेक द वैल्यू फ्रॉम 2A. सर आपका कुछ भी लैप्स नहीं होगा. 8C टेक्स द वैल्यू फ्रॉम टेबल 13. 8C takes the value from table 13 and sir it takes the value from table 12 also. कई लोग ये सोचते हैं कि यहाँ नेगेटिव फिगर नहीं आता है. सो लेट मी टेल यू फ्रेंड्स, अगर आपने आईटीसी बढ़ाया तो ये पॉजिटिव होगा टेबल 13. अगर टेबल 12 से लिंक करेंगे, आईटीसी अगले साल कम किया तो ये नेगेटिव फिगर भी उठाता है, ये नेगेटिव फिगर भी उठाता है. सो 8C टेक्स द नेगेटिव वैल्यू ऑल्सो. Now let's move on to the spillover effects. Sir, spillover effects पे जाने से पहले I would like to show you one Excel sheet. Here it is. I hope you all can see the Excel sheet. Sir, I do the audit through these Excel sheets and I tell you how. Sir, ये part आपका output के साथ deal करता है और this portion deals with your purchase, your input. Now, sir, sale में क्या चीजें चाहिए, 3B, GSTR 1, GSTR and your books. Sir, books की वैल्यू आई थिंक सो मुझसे कॉलम हाइड हो गया था, राइट। सो बुक्स की वैल्यू जो है वो कहां से आपको बड़े आराम से 18-19 की मिल जाती है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। GSTR 1 की फिगर्स भी 18-19 की निकल आती है। सर प्रॉब्लम आती है 3B के टाइम पे, प्रॉब्लम आती है 3B के टाइम पे। आप जब 3B की वैल्यू उठाते हो तो उसमें 17-18 इंक्लूडिंग आता है। सो लेट्स डू इट। 3B की वैल्यू जब आप डालो, इस साल की आपने 3B उठाई, वैल्यू डाल दी, आप पिछले साल का टेबल 10 और 11 डालिए और उल्टा कर दीजिए BRS। नथिंग मोर यू आर गोइंग टू डू, यू आर गोइंग टू प्रिपेयर BRS। सब्ट्रैक्ट द टेबल 10, एड टेबल 11। पिछला टेबल 10 माइनस कर दीजिए, टेबल 11 ऐड कर दीजिए। सो अल्टीमेटली अब आपकी जो नेट फिगर आएगी, दिस इज फ्री ऑफ 17-18। नाउ यू कैन इजीली कंपेयर दिस एंड कैन फाइंड आउट द डिफरेंस। सर सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट इस शीट में आपका हेड वाइज डिफरेंस भी आता है, एग्जेम्प्ट और टैक्सेबल सप्लाई वाइज भी आता है। सर दिस टैक्सेबल, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिफरेंस इज योर 3B एंड बुक्स। सो हियर इज बुक्स विथ 3B। उसमें से आप कहते हो जी मैंने इतना तो मार्च तक करेक्ट कर दिया, जो कर दिया वो कहां चला जाएगा, करंट ईयर के टेबल 10 और 11 में, और जो नहीं किया उसके लिए क्या पे होगा, DRC 03। सो अल्टीमेटली इस एक्सेल शीट से आपको पूरा आइडिया हो जाएगा। सर इसमें RCM भी कंपेयर होता है, RCM एज पर बुक्स एंड एज पर रिटर्न, ये टोटल लायबिलिटी कैलकुलेट करती है शीट। अदर देन दैट सेम इज फॉर परचेजेस ऑल्सो, सेम इज फॉर परचेजेस ऑल्सो। परचेज में भी किसको टैली करोगे, बुक्स 2A एंड 3B। सर 2A पूरा टैली करने का कोई बेनिफिट नहीं है। सो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डिफरेंसेस 3B विद बुक्स। सर पिछले साल के इंपैक्ट एडजस्ट कर दीजिए, पिछले साल का टेबल 13 माइनस कर दीजिए और टेबल 12 ऐड बैक कर दीजिए। अगेन जो डिफरेंस आया उसमें से जो आपने मार्च तक एडजस्टमेंट कर दी वो करंट ईयर के टेबल 12 और 13 में जाएगा, और जो अभी भी डिफरेंस रहेगा वो या तो लैप्स हो जाएगा या अगर ज्यादा लिया होगा तो DRC 03 के थ्रू पे करना पड़ेगा। सर टेप GSTR 9 इज नॉट अ डॉक्यूमेंट or is not a base, is not a return through which you can claim the credit. You cannot claim the credit through this. Sir Kamlesh ji, this Excel sheet not possible. It will be shared. Don't worry, it is for you only that I have showed it here. It will be shared with you. Now here also the RCM details of inputs have also been considered. So this Excel chart gives you the entire idea of your output and inputs, and there is a balance matching sheet also in this. Here opening balance and closing balance, ultimately the difference of this will match with your sheet number 1, will match with your sheet number 1. So now coming back to the PPT. Sir, this is how we are going to take the impacts of the, sir जो यहाँ मैंने reconciliations लिखी हैं वो सारी ही आपकी Excel sheet में लगी हुई हैं. These are the formulas which I have taken as base. आपके 3B में जो आ रहा है उसमें से पिछले साल की इफेक्ट उल्टे कर दीजिए, reverse those impacts. प्लस जो आज तक कहीं नहीं दिखाया फॉर्मूला सेम है. सर टेबल 4 और टेबल 9 का पेबल आपसे डिस्कस नहीं हुआ सर. टेबल 9 के 2 पार्ट्स हैं, वन इज पेबल पार्ट, अनदर इज पेड पार्ट. पेबल पार्ट इन ग्रे, नो, this orange part in gray cannot be changed, non editable. और सर गवर्नमेंट कहती है वैल्यूज मत दिखाओ पिछले साल की, अपनी वैल्यू यहाँ शो करती है, it shows here. Now table part, yes, this is an editable part and should be edited to match with table 4, to match with table 4. So ultimately saying table 4 and 9 payable part always have the same values, same as table number 4. Table 9 का paid part is freezed, 3B से आता है. So this is how this examples are based on entire spillover effects. Sir, आपकी 3B की फिगर फ्रीज्ड फिगर होगी 1,03,000. 1,03,000 में से लास्ट ईयर का इंपैक्ट कितना है 3,000. इसका मतलब 1,18,19 का दिखाया 18-19 का और 3,000 17-18 का दिखाया है 3B में आपने. Now let's see, if I say that the actual liability of books of account is 1 lakh, so आपको टेबल 4 में क्या दिखाना है? No impact of previous year. टेबल 4 1 lakh. What is shown in 3B? 3B में कितना दिखाया 18-19 का 1 lakh. टेबल 9 एंड टेबल 4 का पेबल ऑलवेज सेम, ऑलवेज सेम. टेबल 9 का पेड फ्रीज फिगर आती है सर 1,03,000. सारी जगह 1,03,000 ही चलेगा, कोई गलती नहीं थी. हेडिंग जरूर पढ़िएगा. हेडिंग से 18-19 आपने बिल्कुल करेक्टली दिखाया था, बिल्कुल करेक्टली, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. जब मैंने 18-19 दिखाया ही करेक्टली था तो पार्ट 5 विल बी 0. पार्ट 5 विल बी 0. 1 लाख लाइबिलिटी थी 18-19 की, बुक से वैल्यू मैच्ड. नाउ लेट्स से आपकी बुक्स में तो वैल्यू थी 1,08,000. आपने कम दिखाई कितनी 1 लाख. 1 लाख शॉर्ट दिखाई. हो सकता है करेक्ट कर दी, हो सकता है करेक्ट ना की. पहला करेक्टेड, करेक्ट की होगी तो टेबल 10 पिछले साल का, टेबल 10 इस साल का आप यूज करेंगे. और अगर करेक्ट नहीं की होगी तो DRC 03 आएगा. सो लेट्स सी 1,08,000 आपकी एक्चुअल लायबिलिटी थी बुक्स की. आपने 1 लाख तो दिखा दी, और अगर मैं कहती हूँ करेक्शन कर दी पोस्ट मार्च 19 तो कहां जाएगी? पार्ट 5 टेबल नंबर 10. दिस इज व्हाट वी डिड इन द प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल्स. नाउ दिस टेबल 4 and 9 टेबल ऑलवेज सेम. 1,03,000 फ्रीज्ड फिगर, 8,000 नो DRC, करेक्शन कर चुके हैं हम. सो अल्टीमेटली 1 लाख गया टेबल नंबर 4 में, 8,000 गया टेबल नंबर 10 में. वैल्यूज मैच्ड, values matched. Now moving ahead, we have 18-19, and if it is not shown, not corrected, DRC 03 will arise for 8,000. And remember the formula, what is shown in 3B plus not shown anywhere, entire value will go to table number 4. Again matched with your books of accounts. Now what we have is 18-19. Sir 18-19 में मेरी actual books की value थी 92,000. You have shown excess. Now you have shown 1 lakh. You corrected it. If you corrected it, you will use table 11. And if you have not corrected it, sir query आई थी आपकी, मैंने कोई एक्सेस ITC ले लिया है और या मैंने कोई एक्सेस आउटपुट शो कर दी है, कैन आई टेक रिफंड? Yes. Table 9 of GSTR 9 acts as the basis for refund. So this 8,000 you can claim the refund through table number 9. Now a combination of cases. Sir, this entire one is based upon the recent press release and the notification, which says no impact of previous year. Now let's see the combination case, sir. आपका 1,10,000 आपकी एक्चुअल लायबिलिटी थी, आपने 1 लाख दिखा दी 3B में. इस साल की अगले साल करेक्शन की 7 और 3 नेट 4,000. सर वेयर इट विल गो? इस साल का अगले साल करेक्ट किया पार्ट 5, टेबल 10 में 7,000 बढ़ाया, टेबल 11 में 3,000 कम किया. ओके, पार्ट 5 शोन इन 3B 1 लाख, नॉट शोन एनीवेयर 6,000. ऐड कर दीजिए, 1,06,000 will come to table 4. And sir, for this 6,000 you are liable to pay the DRC 03. So ultimately saying, friends, हम जो पहले भी कर रहे थे, we are following the same procedure in table 4, 9, 10, 11, 14. There is no impact of previous year figures. Yes, previous year figures impact comes in table number 9. Sir, the difference of paid and payable will show your previous year impact 3000. So अगर आपको रिको बनानी है तो आप अपने पेड और पेबल का डिफरेंस निकालिए, आपका इम्पैक्ट शो करेगा प्रीवियस ईयर का. सेम इज द केस विद इनपुट. सर, मैं इनपुट का एक कॉम्बिनेशन केस ही बताऊंगी एंड यू विल गेट टू नो. आपने इनपुट 3B में लिया 1,02,000, difference 2,000 rupees pertaining to the year 17-18. Sir, now comes the relevance of your press release or the notification. Press release says, sir, this option number 1 is according to your press release. कोई वैल्यू पिछले साल की नहीं डालनी. I said okay. पहले मैं सिंपल केस बताती हूँ. आपकी बुक्स का ITC कितना था? 1 लाख 18-19 का. लेकिन जब 6A में आएगा, वो कहां से वैल्यू उठाएगा? 3B से. 1,02,000. आपको प्रेस रिलीज ने क्या कहा? आपको नोटिफिकेशन ने क्या कहा? भाई आपने तो उसी साल का दिखाना है, आप दिखाओगे 1 लाख. सर, डिफरेंस आएगा 6J कॉलम में 2,000 रुपए का. सो दिस डिफरेंस यू कैन सब्सटैंशिएट टू योर ऑफिसर इज ड्यू टू द लास्ट ईयर इम्पैक्ट्स. लेकिन फ्रेंड्स, इसमें एक दिक्कत आएगी. वो दिक्कत क्या है? ये ऑप्शन यूज करने से सर पूरे GSTR 9 और 9C में मेरे पास एक ही कॉलम था, 12B टेबल, जो बताता था कि पिछले साल का इम्पैक्ट 2,000 यहां दिखाना. सर, ये कॉलम रिडंडेंट हो जाता है. क्यों? अब वो जब आपका टोटल ITC उठाएगा 7J कॉलम, वो 1 लाख उठाएगा. आप कहोगे मेरी बुक्स, अगर मैं कॉम्बिनेशन केस देखूं, आपका ITC कितना था? 1,10,000. आपने कितना लिया था? 1 लाख. अगले साल ठीक कर लिया 3,000 और 7,000, 4,000 ठीक कर लिया. ओके, 6,000 कभी लिया ही नहीं. सर, जो कभी लिया ही नहीं वो आएगा भी नहीं. लैप्स. दिस 6,000 विल लैप्स. नाउ ये जो 3 और 7 ठीक किए, ये पार्ट 5 में चले जाएंगे. आप इस साल का आपने जो लिया, कितना लिया? 1 लाख. नाउ सी, आप अगर 9C में जाएंगे, व्हाट विल यू शो? मेरी बुक्स का इनपुट था 1,10,000. पिछले साल के परटेनिंग 2,000 था. सर, पहले जब हम यहाँ डालते थे, वो कंपैरिजन के लिए 7J कॉलम उठाता था 1,02,000. एज अ रिजल्ट यहाँ डिफरेंस आता सिर्फ 6,000 का लैप्स का. आई विल शो यू दैट ऑल्सो. ऐसे 1,02,000 पिछले साल का इम्पैक्ट छोड़ दो, 2,000 आपका कंपेयर करता था और डिफरेंस निकालता था 6,000 का, जो लैप्स करना है. बट अगर हम ये नोटिफिकेशन यूज करते हैं तो मेरा जो 12B कॉलम है वो सिर्फ रिडंडेंट हो जाता है. आपको अपने ऑफिसर को सेटिस्फाई करना है. आप दोनों में से कोई भी ऑप्शन यूज कर सकते हो. दूसरी ऑप्शन क्या है? सर, दूसरी ऑप्शन है ये. आपका डिफरेंस आया था 2,000 का. आपने कहा हाँ जी आया था. आप इसको 6M कॉलम में अदर्स में डाल दीजिए. इससे क्या होगा? आपका जो ये कॉलम है 12B कॉलम, ये रिडंडेंट नहीं होगा और अल्टीमेटली जो जस्टिफिकेशन आपको देनी है वो सिर्फ 6,000 की देनी है, जो उस साल का क्रेडिट लैप्स हुआ है. So the press release is okay. The only issue is the 12B column goes redundant. Otherwise, आपको रिको अपने लेवल पे प्रिपेयर करनी है. You have to satisfy the officer. Sir, at the end of this, I have put in certain observations, draft observations. Here are the points which you can refer while making your GSTR 9C. So with this, I end up my deliberation. And sir, these are certain solutions, but आपको जरूरत नहीं है. विकास जी ने, I have seen the document. He has prepared it on all grounds कि क्या-क्या options आपको लगानी है अगर कोई DSC में problem आए. So with this, I end up my deliberation and hand over to Vikas ji for the further proceeding. Thank you so much, sir, for the patient listening.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am, for your nice deliberation. If the house has any question, they can put it. Hello. Hello. They can raise hands or hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Is there any question in the house? All is clear. Hello. Right now, I request Vivek Bankaji. Hello. Vivek Banka, are you there?
Vivek ji, please unmute yourself.
Now I request Vivek Bankaji to offer a vote of thanks to Madam Aanchal ji. Hello. Vivek Bankaji, are you there? Madam, there is a question.
Yes.
Please unmute.
Yes, hello. Yes, because audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, audible? Yes, okay. Yeah, thanks, Vikas. On behalf of VIPCA, I would like to thank CA Aanchal Kapoor ji for sharing her views on GST annual return, GSTR 9, 9C, etc. Aanchal ji, you explained the topic with practical examples very nicely. Really, the session was very informative and interactive, and I am sure it will give the value addition to our professional knowledge. Thanks a lot, Aanchal ji, and thanks to all viewers for joining on virtual mode. Happy Navratri to all. Thanks a lot.
Happy Navratri, sir, and thank you all the viewers for the patient listening. Your words value a lot for me. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Madam, it was a very nice deliberation.
Yeah.
Personally, I learned so many things. Actually, in day to day, I called Vikas Banka that what will be the solutions. Now you have resolved lot of queries for me. Thank you, madam.
It's my pleasure, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Vikas ji has been such a close friend. So, like my elder brother. So I am also learning under his guidance. And thank you so much to all of you to be there and to give me this opportunity to interact on this platform. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, Aanchal ji.
Okay, thank you.